Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 44 of our Aston Martin Save, the penultimate race of the season in Brazil this weekend. Now, spoiler alert, if you didn't go and watch the last episode, go back and watch that. Mexican Grand Prix, and Pierre Gasly got a P2 on the podium for Aston Martin. Fernando Alonso finishing in P6, which means going into this weekend, the standings are as follows. Constructors-wise, there still is a little bit of work for Ferrari to do. They do lead by around 52 points from Red Bull. We are sitting pretty in 4th position. Drivers standings-wise, Carlos Sainz is only 16 points ahead of Max Verstappen with 2 races to go. Charles Leclerc, his teammate, a further few points back. So Leclerc, Verstappen and Sainz are all still very much in it for the title. Pierre Gasly, could he beat one of the Mercedes drivers? It is very, very possible. Gaining 18 points last time out. George Russell is the target, only a point in front of our man Pierre Gasly. And this weekend, as aforementioned, we are going to Interlagos, the Brazilian Grand Prix. 71 laps round here. Valtteri Bottas with the lap record. Car attributes, medium and low speed cornering and acceleration. We might do okay here. Expected strategy is a 2-stop medium to hard if it remains dry. I'm going to get through the practice sessions and we will see you in qualifying for the Brazilian Grand Prix.
The carnival atmosphere has already started here in Sao Paulo as Brazil welcomes the Formula One Grand Prix. The Autodromo José Carlos Pache has been a staple of the racing calendar for decades, and soon we'll once again be watching the best drivers in the world give it their all. The Sao Paulo track is beautifully designed to present an enticing challenge for teams and drivers alike. Between medium-speed S-corners, hill climbs and the high-speed section after Junção, this circuit calls for cars to have a balanced setup to succeed here. This is it. We're down to the last few races of the season and it's time for that final push. Who will be crowned champion at the end of it all? We'll find out soon enough. What will happen this weekend? Only time will tell.
You join us here at the end of Q2 now. All cars had to set the first times on intermediate tyres. Towards the end, obviously, everybody's switched on to soft, so everybody's going that little bit quicker. Gasly and Alonso, we didn't have the pace when the rain came. Fernando Alonso is actually purple through the second sector. Let's see what Fernando pulls off here as he comes up to the line. Can he get himself into Q3? I'm very much hoping so. But Pierre Gasly needs a big performance as well. Fernando Alonso goes quickest. P1 at the moment. Pierre Gasly is going to be following. Pierre Gasly, where's he gone? Pierre Gasly's gone P2. We'll fast forward this on. Have we managed to get both our cars into Q3? Alonso is tumbling down. And Alonso, unfortunately, is going to be knocked out in Q2. Both cars may still yet, as we cross the line. Perez is out in Q2, but Fernando Alonso qualifies only 12th. Disappointing there. So just one man in Q3 for us. Fortunately for Fernando, the 3 cars in front of him have all got grid penalties. Q3 coming up. So here we go then, Q3 final lap. As the sun sets here in Interlagos, Pierre Gasly currently net P6. Is he going to manage to improve on that? He's green through the first sector, yellow through the second. Pierre Gasly, if he can stay in behind the Mercs, that would be ideal. Valtteri Bottas doesn't improve enough to get in front of Pierre Gasly. It's all eyes on Magnussen, Zhou and Lance Stroll, who is in Q3. We never saw that in an Aston Martin car. Hamilton is P4. Charles Leclerc currently in P1 unless George Russell is on an absolute mad one. We'll just fast forward it a little bit to see what George Russell can do as he comes around the final few corners. Let's have a look. George Russell's the only man really who I would expect to take pole position. If we have a look, Bottas has now finished as Magnussen. Pierre Gasly, Russell is in, he can't improve, so Charles Leclerc will lead the Brazilian Grand Prix away on Sunday. But that's a cracking performance from Pierre Gasly, P6. The cars behind him have got grid penalties. Fernando Alonso will be escalated. Much hope, but there is rain on Sunday. It's going to be a cracker, this one. Right then, guys, so strategy-wise, very, very interesting. Early in the Grand Prix, it's going to be mega downpours. It is recommended we're starting on intermediates. I'm guessing everybody's doing the same. I'm not privy to that information. I reckon then we're going to be onto another set of intermediate tyres around lap 24. And then around lap 48, nice and easy to remember, we're going to be going on to the medium compounder tyre. That's what I've devised from this screen I would say early doors, it's probably going to get to wets, but we'll have to see what state the track is in when we start. Both drivers on the same, 6th and 8th. Let's see how we get on and get to 5 red lights for the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Who will win? Only time will tell. Here at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And away we go, and apparently it is only a light shower. Lovely. So straight away we're having a look at the tyres. A lot on intermediates. A few cars have started on wets, rather interestingly. Straight away Pierre Gasly is doing okay. He's holding on to his position. He's actually attacking the Mercedes of George Russell. As we can see up front, Charles Leclerc led away from Max Verstappen. Then comes Carlos Sainz in third. Hamilton in P4. Russell, Fernando Alonso having a fantastic start and holding off
Good job, keep pushing.
Sergio Perez, which is vastly important. Pierre Gasly having a look at the Mercedes. We'll ride on board with the Gasman, who's been our star driver this season, it must be said. We are reckoning there's going to be a heavy downpour in about 4 minutes' time. If we have a look at the track, let's just have a quick look at this. So we've got what? Heavy rain in 4 minutes and heavy rain. It could get to wets. These guys on the wets could have played an absolute blinder here. But as we know from real life, they don't really like going on the wet compounded tyre. We wanted to be on the quicker tyre in the intermediate. And Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly holding on to the back of the two Mercedes, while Leclerc, Sainz and Verstappen all in the world title fight for the drivers, battling away at the front. Lap 1, Charles Leclerc will still lead from his two, from Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen looking mighty quick in the wet, as he always does. Going to be an interesting one this, but both our guys in formation. Alonso's having to do a bit of defending from the Red Bull of Sergio Perez, who, again, like in real life, not quite matching his teammate this season for pace. But Pierre Gasly is in a cracking position. He needs to beat George. Well, he doesn't need to beat George Russell, but beating George Russell in the driver's standings would be a big achievement, I think, for the Gasman, and probably cement him as the #1 driver for next season, lap 2. And what may also cement Pierre Gasly as the #1 driver is mistakes like this from Fernando. Fernando, well, he didn't even lock up really, did he? He just ran wide, and Sergio Perez took the invitation and went up into P7. He's now behind Pierre Gasly, which is not ideal. And I'm guessing, are we going to get a shot from the Aston Martin garage? We're not. But yeah, we are very disappointed on the pit wall with that. Fernando, I'm sure we'll make up for it. But very, very disappointing for Fernando, lap 2. And on lap 3, if you were the McLaren strategist, I wouldn't even get you back on the plane from Brazil. He's boxed the cars that started on wets. Albon and Bottas, in fairness to them, are sticking with it. I can understand that. We've played his hand, we're sticking with it. Norris and Ricciardo have boxed on lap 4. That is a shambles, and believe me, I've made some bad decisions. I mean, if anything, we've got a downpour coming in a minute. Why have they boxed? Unbelievable. Honestly, Norris and Ricciardo, Lando Norris must be kicking and screaming in the car at the moment. Maybe he's thinking I could do with a move. Who knows? Lap 4. And on lap 5, Sergio Perez showing that he's very much in a quicker car. He's ahead of Pierre Gasly now. Pierre Gasly can't get near him. Verstappen's now leading from Charles Leclerc at the front, which could be very pivotal in terms of the title race. And unusually, in the Aston Martin pit wall, both drivers, there are no team orders. Both cars are free to race. Just race respectfully. That is all I ask. Normally we'll be telling Fernando to hold on a little bit behind Pierre. None of that today. Just get on with it, boys. I think this race is going to be won and lost at what time it comes down to changing the tyres onto the dry compounded tyre. That's where this race is going to be won and lost. Safety cars could also be very prominent in it, but at the moment, 7th and 8th, it is not the worst result for our guys at the moment. Lap 6. Now, interestingly, lap 7, it is time for the wet compound tyre. Now, this is the thing I don't understand with McLaren, that they decided not to see through the wet compound tyre start. But Williams have boxed onto the wet tyres. They're going to be supremely quick. None of the guys at the front, including ourselves, have decided that we think the wet tyre is necessary. We've very much got the pace on the Alpha Tauri and haven't got the pace of the front guys at this moment in time. But Verstappen choosing to carry on. Obviously, Verstappen very good in the wet weather anyway. Sainz currently now in P2 on the Inters and Leclerc in P3. I think it's all looking like we're going to stick out on these intermediate tyres until it goes back and the track dries up a little bit. So lap 8, gamble from Williams, but it may pay off, especially against McLaren. Lap 14, and well, I was just about to tell you the Alfa Romeos managed to get past us during that wet weather period, obviously on the wet tyre, but have now had to box 4 into, so a nice gamble from them. It's not quite paid off, and they've double stacked as well, just to really increase the pain on themselves. Williams did gain on McLaren, as you can see down the bottom. Mick Schumacher did very well. He's still out there on that wet compounded tyre. He's going to be coming in very shortly, I'd imagine, as well. In fact, he may even come in now. Let's just keep an eye on him as he comes through the final corner. Is Mick Schumacher boxing? He certainly is. So the Williams, the guys that started on the wets, wasn't the optimal strategy at all, which is nice because it's normally us making strategy mishaps. But Gasly and Alonso, they seem to be in a race of their own at the moment, and they are racing each other. We are losing a little bit of time to this, but I don't think we've got the pace of Perez. We're going to need a safety car. 7th and 8th. If we can get this afternoon, I would be more than happy with that. Lap 14. Lap 25, Fernando is in the pits. This light rain is going to continue, and we are going to pit. We don't think the Inters are going to get towards the dry tyre period. So Fernando is in. Pierre Gasly will be coming in the next lap, so you'll get another pit stop very quickly. But 2.5 seconds, that's going to put us out, hopefully, in a little bit of clean air. Let's just fast forward that a little bit and see where Fernando comes out. Fernando is next to an Alfa Romeo, so he's got him to deal with. Pierre Gasly is in next lap. And just as that happens, Charles Leclerc, this could be huge in terms of the driver's standings, locks up and goes wide, and that is going to cost him a lot of time. As you can see, the Mercedes, even we might have caught him up there, have we? They're obviously very disappointed in the Ferrari garage. Where have we? Are we overtaking him? We haven't. We're still 10 seconds behind him. He got a really big gap on us. But yeah, lap 26, big mistake, Charles Leclerc. And here we go then, Pierre Gasly is in for his stop as well. Another set of intermediates going on for Pierre Gasly. It's a decent stop, 2.5. Let's see where he comes out in relation to his teammate. We've just seen, as he come out in front, Pierre Gasly, he joins the fight, and he is going to come out in front of these two that are fighting, and Pierre Gasly is going to be told to deploy now, get away a bit, use the tyres, and then Fernando can get past as well. So lap 27, pit stops made, and we are now on fresh intermediate tyres. Lap 27. Lap 31, we've had a big crash, and it looks like a Ferrari. Oh my word. What on earth is that Williams doing? I don't know who that is that's just been clipped.
And the team had such high hopes today.
I mean, I would be Toto Wolff in it if I was in the Ferrari garage. Was that Charles Leclerc? Or was it Carlos Sainz? I'm not too sure who that was. We're not, obviously somebody's front wing's broken. I wouldn't suggest it was Charles Leclerc. Well, I'm sure we're going to get an idea. Verstappen's now pitting. It makes sense for all these guys. This VSC has not helped our race once again. But Sainz is in. That could be just for his pit stop anyway. But that Williams, my word, he's got to be absolutely disgusted at the Ferrari pit wall. We're back up to 8th now, 8th and 12th. Fernando Alonso is struggling to get through the traffic, whereas Pierre Gasly negotiated it rather well. These guys have obviously got a cheap pit stop now, which is not helping us at all. Which has just meant they've gained on us. Kevin Magnussen's yet to pit. I'm amazed he's not been into the pit on this last lap. We are predicted the rain is going to start slowing up in a few more laps, so getting that switch to the medium compounded tyre is vitally important, and we will go from there. But lap 32, Ferrari must be pulling their hair out. Green flag running has resumed, and I think we can summarise that it is Charles Leclerc who did have that little bump with a Williams. And guess what car's in front of him now? It's another Williams in front of him that's trying to get out of the way. Pierre Gasly is now on the back of Charles Leclerc. Obviously, Charles Leclerc on the fresher tyres. That VSC's really helped him. I'm hoping we don't get stuck. We're just going to have a little ride on board with Pierre Gasly. And we do get stuck behind the Williams a little bit. But if he can keep in touch with him now, that'll be ideal for us. If we have a look at the gap to the leader, he's got a 1.2 second gap to Charles Leclerc. And then it's a long way. 36 seconds to Max Verstappen, who is currently in the lead by 3.5 seconds. Max Verstappen having a lovely afternoon here in Brazil, and he needs to have that to close that gap and take it to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Anything can happen in Abu Dhabi, as we know. But there we go, P7, P9 for our two guys, and I'm sure when it comes to the mediums, we've got enough for a gap now to get them both in on the same lap as well, so that's nice. 3.7 though millimeters of wetness. We're gonna have to find the correct terminology for this. On the moment on track, so it might take a while to dry out yet, and it is still raining. Lap 33. Lap 36, it has took a while, but finally, Fernando Alonso, he's passed Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas, as we know, one of the most impressive drivers this season, I believe, in terms of outperforming the car. And Fernando Alonso does get this move done, I can assure you, and he's now chasing after Pierre Gasly. And we're enjoying it in Aston Martin garage. He's stunned, he's thinking, God, it took you a long time, Fernando. But yeah, great stuff from those. Pierre Gasly now P7 and Alonso P8. As far as bad weekends go, Charles Leclerc is having one. He's just done this. Bang. Charles Leclerc is having a mare. I don't know whether to laugh or cry for him. What I'm a bit upset about is that this hasn't brought out a safety car. Oh, I mean, he's just like, how many more, Charles, are you going to do here? But it's not brought out a safety car. I thought that might do. Obviously, there's a service road near it. We're back to green flag running pretty quickly. We really could have done with an actual safety car, especially as we look like we're starting to get towards the dry period. That would have been ideal. I might have even took a risk and gone on to the mediums now, but so sadly not. 39. Rain stopped. I'm sure we're going to be pitting for the dry compounder tyres very, very shortly. Another crash, and it is George Russell, the man that Pierre Gasly is trying to beat in the championship, and he's done exactly the same as what Charles Leclerc did. Now, interestingly, we've just been watching, doing a little bit of research on how quickly the track's drying. I reckon in 1 or 2 laps, we are going to be ready for dry compounded tyre. George Russell's going to pit now. This is interesting. If George Russell goes on to Inters, he can forget it. Let's have a look at what George Russell goes on to. He's gone on to another set of Inters. That's it, Georgie boy. You're done, mate. You're done. And you've got a new front wing coming on as well. No good for him. If we have a look now, 1.32. As they're just coming round, we may box one, maybe not the next lap, the lap after. That is when we want to be going onto the dry compounded tyre. Stay with us. Lap 42, we are boxing. The track is drying up. I reckon by the time we come out of the pit lane, the track is going to be dry. The big decision was, if we'd have got to 4 more laps, we would have been on the medium compounded tyre. It was touch and go. I didn't think the medium was going to last. I still don't believe it would. And our tyre saving on our car is not the best. Track is now dry. So they're all now going around on intermediates. We're in. This is how long is Fernando going to get held? Not too badly at all. It's good work from the Aston Martin pit crew. It's 2.4 and 2.5. We aren't going to get caught in the madness of the pit lane, which is going to be on the next lap. Both our cars now are going to be told to deploy ERS, be aggressive on the tyres, and absolutely get the foot down. We'll come back when all the other cars are making the pit stops, which I'm assuming is going to be at the end of this lap. But we come out 9 and 10 in clean air. That could be the strategy call. Lap 43. Right, interestingly, we come back. A lot of these guys are going onto medium compounded tyre. George Russell, Bottas, Magnussen, Albon, all onto the medium compound. Max Verstappen, medium compound. We've managed to jump. Russell and Bottas. Well, we knew Russell were not going to really be in it anyway. Those medium compounded tyre towards the end, I reckon, are going to drop off a cliff. If they do, which I'm presuming they will do, then we should be absolutely laughing. We're on the harder compound. We're on the more durable tyre. I didn't think the medium could do it. I'm totally honest with that. I didn't think the medium could do it. It's the gap to Russell, which is the interesting one. Russell is on the medium compounded tyre, and it's going to be Fernando Alonso who ends up battling him first. But P5 and 6 for our 2 guys. Verstappen is going round. There is a yellow in Sector 2. Hamilton's into the pit. He's out of the pit now. He's on the medium compounded tyre as well. Pierre Gasly is miles behind. Schumacher's spun turn 8. We'll not take a quick look at that. So P5 and 6, we've got Bottas. I think we can hold him up. I think on the hard compounded tyre, there's only us that's gone hard. I thought the strategy call were right. We will see what happens here. Lap 44, Fernando Alonso, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. You join us back, lap 48. Fernando Alonso has just gotten in the DRS of Pierre Gasly, so that's positive. That'll keep him away from George Russell. We'll have a quick rundown. Max Verstappen on lap 48 leads from Carlos Sainz in second, 2 seconds back. These two in a league of their own this afternoon. Then comes Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez, Gasly, Alonso, Russell chasing down Alonso in P7, Bottas and Albon. Then in 8 and 9 for the Alfa Romeos, Kevin Magnussen in P10, Norris P11 after that absolute abysmal strategy from McLaren. Zhou and Stroll in the AlphaTauri down in P12 and 13. Ocon P14, Charles Leclerc P15. Absolute nightmare weekend. Ricciardo P16, Vettel, Latifi, Schumacher and Tsunoda rounds off the grid. Interestingly, we've got a bit of minor ERS wear on Pierre Gasly, and we are going to say to Pierre Gasly, unfortunately, do not fight your teammate. Let Fernando Alonso pass, because I reckon Fernando is quicker than you. Lap 49. Lap 57, it's working a treat. As you can see on the left-hand side, it is down to 4.5 seconds, but George Russell is not catching us at the rate of knots required. His tyres are now in worse shape than ours, and we're on this hard compounded tyre. We have got a yellow in Sector 2, a competitor running wide. We'll keep an eye on this. Hopefully we're going to get to have a little look at this. Lando Norris, my word. I mean, I've been very critical of McLaren's strategy this afternoon. Lando Norris, it weren't a massive mistake. It was just a little twitch on the back end that sent him out of shape. But yeah, we're just ticking along here. 5 and 6 is the maximum here. We will get to the last few laps and we will let them race. At the moment, we're using Fernando's pace. He has got the better ERS as well, just to keep George Russell out of sight. That's the idea. And both cars doing a fantastic job of bringing this home for Aston Martin, which is going to be more big points in the constructors, but he's also going to mean Pierre Gasly does creep ahead of George Russell in the drivers as well. So great news all round. Charles Leclerc, same can't be said for you, my friend. Lap 58. Lap 68, Lewis Hamilton has just pit. I don't believe there was any contact. It's not going to bring him out near Fernando, I don't think. I think Fernando were too far back, although I'm saying that. Yeah, I think Fernando were too far back. So they just pit Lewis Hamilton, I'm guessing, for the fastest lap attempt, and that Williams obviously is going to have to get out of the way. Probably these two in front can box. We can't catch them, so they could all box for softs if they particularly wanted to. But like 69, we've just been running in formation, and as you can see on the left hand side, we've pulled that gap out to George Russell to 6.6 seconds. The hard compounded tyre was the right tyre for us, especially later on in this stint. It's worked really well for us. 48 and 47%, 2 laps to go. They will be told very shortly, you are free to race. And we're going to see final lap, Max Verstappen crossing the line to win the Brazilian Grand Prix at Interlagos. Fantastic work from Max. He's been in a league of his own all afternoon. Great in the wet, great in the dry. Superb work for him. Meanwhile, our guys have been told that you are free to race, and race they shall. Alonso still leading Pierre Gasly, as he has done for a lot of this race. Pierre Gasly, they're making a real fist of it. Let's just follow this all the way around to the final, to the checkered flag. Fernando Alonso trying to defend like a lion. Pierre Gasly now on the outside. Fernando Alonso on the inside. Alonso's back up. They're going to go side by side all the way around the track. Hopefully there's no contact. That Williams in the background's nothing to be looking at. He's just driving round really. But Fernando Alonso currently now is behind, but he is going to get the run on Pierre Gasly up the hill. Will he get DRS? Who's going to get DRS here? Fernando Alonso or Pierre Gasly? Let's keep an eye on it. It looks like Fernando's in front. Is he going to manage to keep it up to the line? Pierre Gasly's coming through. He isn't going to manage to get it. Great racing from the Aston Martin guys. Fantastic work. I hope we both give each other a thumbs up here, because that was fair, clean, good racing. P5, P6, fantastic work for both our guys. Cannot be upset with that at all. And yeah, I think as a team, we've got to be incredibly pleased with that performance. This is where we are at the moment. We are around here, and we've managed to beat a Mercedes. And Pierre Gasly's probably on the radio saying, yeah, you should have given me that extra point as I'm in the battle with George Russell. But Pierre, I can't give you the favouritism every week. Fernando is a champion in his own right. And yeah, deserve that. A fantastic drive from Fernando today, especially after that lockup. So what does it mean driver standings wise, it means that Carlos Sainz is now only 9 points ahead of Max Verstappen going into the final race of the season. It's down to a duel in the desert. Charles Leclerc is now a bit too far back, I believe. Pierre Gasly's up to P6. He's now 1 point in front of George Russell. Finish ahead of George Russell next week, and we're absolutely laughing. Constructors-wise, Ferrari extend their... Well, no, don't extend their lead. Have their lead decreased quite significantly to just 30 points. Red Bull could win the drivers' strandings and the constructors as well. Mercedes, comfortable P3. Aston Martin, comfortable P4. We shall see you next time for the finale of Season 2. And then, my word, it's wholesale changes across the grid for the season after, as we give this series a total reboot going into Season 3. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you later. Ta-ra!